Captain Ji-yu Park sat in her command chair on the bridge of the SDF Dauntless. She watched the stars through the large front window. After 27 years in the Space Defense Force, she had learned many things. The most important lesson was simple: stay alive. Ji-yu had never wanted to be a hero. Heroes often died beautiful deaths. Their names were written on walls of stone. Their families got folded flags and empty words. No, Ji-yu preferred to be good at her job, reliable and most of all alive at the end of each day. The war with the Krell had changed everything. For 3 years, humans and the insect-like Krell had fought across 17 star systems. Billions of people had died. The Krell had appeared without warning. They destroyed human bases and colonies with scary speed. They fought as one mind, with weapons made from living things. Humans were losing the war. "Captain, we are on our normal patrol route," said Lieutenant Do-hyun. The young man stood at his station, his back straight. "No unusual activity so far." Ji-yu nodded. These quiet moments were rare now. Most days brought battle, death, and hard choices. "Captain," called Ensign Minji from the sensor station. "I'm picking up a signal. It's weak, but it's definitely a distress call." "Where is it coming from?" Ji-yu asked, sitting up straighter. "A small ship, drifting in neutral space. About 20 minutes away at our current speed." Ji-yu stood up and walked to Minji's station. On the screen was a small dot of light. The ship was sending out a call for help, but something was strange. "The energy signature doesn't match any known human craft," said Lieutenant Do-hyun, looking at the readings. "Could be a trap, Captain." Ji-yu thought for a moment. This was a common Krell trick. Pretend to be hurt, then attack when humans came to help. Many good ships had been lost this way. "Or it could be real people who need our help," Ji-yu said, studying the shape of the vessel on the screen. "Take us closer, but use only passive scans. I don't want them to know we're looking at them yet." "Ma'am, the rules say we should call for backup first," Do-hyun reminded her. "I know what the rules say, Lieutenant." Ji-yu's voice became softer. "But I also know we're better than what this war is turning us into. If someone needs help, we help them. That's what separates us from the Krell." The bridge became very quiet as the Dauntless moved toward the drifting ship. Through the windows, they could see burn marks along its hull. Someone had shot at this ship. "Do you see any life signs?" Ji-yu asked. Ensign Minji worked her controls, then nodded slowly. "Yes, but they're weak. And—" She paused, looking up with wide eyes. "Captain, they're not human life signs. They're Krell." A wave of tension moved through the bridge crew. Everyone knew the standing orders. No mercy, no prisoners. Krell were to be killed on sight. Commander Jae-hyun, her second-in-command, moved to her side. "Captain, we should destroy that vessel, immediately. Orders are clear about Krell ships." Ji-yu looked at the damaged ship on the screen. It wasn't fighting. It wasn't running. It was just drifting, hurt, and asking for help. "What do we know about that ship type?" she asked. "It's small, not a warship," said Tactical Officer Hana. "Could be a scout or a research vessel." Ji-yu made her decision. "Prepare boarding teams. Medical personnel only. No heavy weapons." The bridge crew stared at her in shock. Captain, Commander Jae-hyun, stepped closer. "That's against direct orders from—" "I know, Commander. Write down your objection in the ship's log." She turned to face her crew. "They're hurt and drifting in space. Whatever they are, whatever they've done, I will not kill helpless beings. Not today." "They wouldn't show us the same mercy," muttered someone. "Then we'll be better than them," Ji-yu replied firmly. "That's an order." As the crew prepared the boarding shuttles, Dr. Sunwoo approached the captain. He was the ship's chief medical officer, a man with kind eyes and steady hands. "Captain, I've never treated a Krell before. Their biology is very different from ours. Do your best, doctor, that's all I ask." Ji-yu checked her small gun in its holster. "I'm going with you." Commander Jae-hyun blocked her path. "Captain, you can't go yourself. It's too dangerous." "I made this decision, Commander. I'll face the consequences myself." She looked around at her crew. "If I don't come back, you followed orders. Remember that." 20 minutes later, GU led the boarding party into the Krell ship. The inside was strange. The walls looked like they were made of a hard shell material, like the outside of a bug. Green light came from strips along the ceiling, casting weird shadows. "Stay close," GU whispered. "We're here to help, but be careful." They found the first Krell in what seemed to be the control room of the ship. The creature was huge, almost 10 feet tall with a shiny, colorful outer shell. 4 of its 6 arms were badly hurt, with green blood pooled beneath it. Dr. Sunwoo knelt beside the alien and used his scanner. "It's alive but barely. Many injuries, bleeding inside." The Krell's big eyes, which had many small parts like a fly's eye, moved to look at the humans. Its mouth parts clicked quickly. A moment later, a small device on Dr. Sunwoo's belt translated, "Kill me." "Like you always do." GU knelt beside the creature, looking into its strange eyes. "We're not here to kill you. We're here to help." The Krell's antennas moved slightly. The translator caught bits of words. "Not possible. Humans always kill." Throughout the ship, they found 8 more Krell, all hurt to different degrees. The medical team worked hard, using treatments that were meant for humans but might help the aliens. "Captain," Sunwoo said quietly, "we've made them stable for now, but they need better care. Our medical bay isn't built for their kind of body." GU nodded. "Get them ready to move to the Dauntless." When she returned to her ship, her command staff was waiting. Commander Jae-hyun stepped forward, his face serious. "Captain, I contacted Fleet Command. They ordered us to destroy the Krell vessel with everyone on it. Right away." The bridge fell silent. GU felt everyone looking at her. "And if we bring hurt Krell onto our ship?" she asked. "Then we are to kill them as enemy fighters and report for punishment." Jae-hyun's voice was flat. "Those are our orders." GU looked at the screen showing the medical team getting the hurt aliens ready to move. She thought about her 27 years of service, the promise she had made to follow orders, and the line between duty and doing what was right that had never seemed so clear before. "Send this message to Fleet Command," she said finally. "The SDF Dauntless is giving help to hurt living beings as space law says we should. We will accept what happens because of this action. Park commanding." She turned to her crew. "Anyone who wants to leave before we do this, now is the time. I won't hold it against you." Not a single crew member moved. "Very well." GU stood, tall. "Bring them aboard." As the medical teams began moving the injured Krell to the Dauntless, GU didn't know that her choice would change the path of the war, and maybe the future of both species. She had just wanted to do what was right. But sometimes the smallest acts of kindness can change the course of history. The injured Krell were moved to the medical bay of the SDF Dauntless. Captain GU Park watched as Dr. Sunwoo and his team worked to save the alien beings. The medical bay was not built for creatures like the Krell. Human beds were too small for their large bodies. Human medicine might not work on their strange biology. "How are they doing, Doctor?" GU asked. Dr. Sunwoo looked tired. He had been working for 6 hours without a break. "The big one, the one we found first, is starting to get better. The others are still in danger, but they might live." GU nodded. "Do what you can." "Captain," Sunwoo said, his voice low. "The crew is talking. Some people are scared of having Krell on the ship. Others are angry. They say these aliens killed many humans." "I know," GU said. "But right now these Krell are not a threat. They are just hurt beings who need help." A beeping sound came from GU's pocket. It was a message from Fleet Command. She read it and her face became hard. "Bad news?" asked Sunwoo. "They want us to return to Earth space immediately. When we get there, I am to be removed from command. The Krell are to be handed over to the Science Division. What will happen to them there?" GU didn't answer, but they both knew. The Science Division would cut the Krell open to learn their secrets. It would not be a gentle death. As GU walked back to the bridge, crew members stepped aside. Some looked at her with respect in their eyes. Others looked away. She had broken the biggest rule of the war: never show mercy to the Krell. Commander Jae-hyun waited for her on the bridge. "Captain, we need to talk." About the message from Fleet Command? Ji-Yu asked. Yes. Jae-hyun looked uncomfortable. The crew has been talking. We don't think it's right to hand over the Krell for experiments. Ji-Yu was surprised. Jae-hyun had always followed rules exactly. You were against bringing them on board in the first place. I was, he admitted. But I've been thinking about what you said. About being better than what this war is turning us into, and you were right. Before Ji-Yu could respond, Lieutenant Do-hyun called out from his station. Captain, the largest Krell is awake and asking to speak with you. In the medical bay, the big Krell sat up on a platform made from 2 beds pushed together. Its shell had been fixed with medical patches. Its 6 limbs were folded neatly in front of it. When Ji-Yu entered, its compound eyes turned to follow her. You are the leader, the Krell said through the translator. The voice sounded flat and mechanical, but the words were clear. I am Captain Ji-Yu Park of the Space Defense Force. Why did you save us? Ji-Yu thought about the question. Because you needed help. Because killing helpless beings is wrong. The Krell's antennae moved slowly, as if it was thinking. This is not the human way. In all our records, humans kill Krell on sight. Not all humans are the same, Ji-Yu said. Just like I'm guessing not all Krell are the same. This seemed to surprise the alien. Its large eyes blinked. You believe we are individuals? Aren't you? The Krell made a clicking sound that the translator didn't catch. Then it said, I am called Elder by your crew. It is not my name, but it will do. My true name would be impossible for you to say. Elder, Ji-Yu repeated. What were you doing in that small ship? We are not warriors, Elder said. We are thinkers, studiers. You would say scientists. We were trying to learn human languages and customs, to find a way to talk instead of fight. This was a surprise. The military had always said the Krell couldn't be reasoned with, that they only wanted to kill all humans. There are others like you? Krell who want peace? Many, Elder said. But the Queens do not listen to us. They believe humans must be destroyed or they will destroy us first. Ji-Yu sat on a stool next to Elder's bed. Tell me about your people. The real truth, not what our military thinks they know. For the next 2 hours, Elder explained Krell society. The Krell were not just one group, but many hives, each led by a queen. The queens made all the big decisions. Regular Krell followed, orders through a mind link. But some Krell, like Elder and its science team, had been born with weaker mind links. They could think more for themselves. We believe talking is better than fighting, Elder said. But the queens see independent thought as dangerous. They sent us to study humans, but they expected us to die. Why would they want you to die? Ji-Yu asked. Because we question. Because we suggest peace. Elder's antennae drooped. We were attacked by our own kind, not by humans. When you found us, we thought you would finish what our own people started. As Elder talked, the other Krell began to wake up. They watched Ji-Yu with their large compound eyes. At first they seemed afraid, but as they saw her talking calmly with Elder, they began to relax. Meanwhile, on the bridge, Lieutenant Minji called Commander Jae-hyun over to the sensor station. Sir, I'm picking up a signal. It's faint, but it's there. What kind of signal? Jae-hyun asked. It's coming from the medical bay, from the Krell themselves. They're sending out some kind of transmission. Jae-hyun's face hardened. Alert the captain immediately. When Ji-Yu got the message, she confronted Elder. You're sending signals to other Krell ships. Why? Elder's antennae twitched nervously. We are not calling for attack if that is what you fear. We are telling others what happened here. That a human captain saved us when she could have killed us. Why tell them that? Because it changes everything, Elder said. In Krell thinking, one who spares an enemy when they could strike is seen as having deep wisdom. In your human terms, it would be like a holy person. A prophet. Ji-Yu shook her head. I'm no prophet. I just did what I thought was right. That is exactly why it matters, Elder said. Your people and mine have only known each other through war, but you showed there can be another way. The ship's communication system suddenly came on. "Captain, park to the bridge immediately," Jae-hyun's voice said. On the bridge, the mood was tense. "3 Krell ships have just entered sensor range," Jae-hyun reported. "They're heading right for us." "Battle stations?" Ji-yu asked. "No," Jae-hyun said, looking confused. "They're not in attack formation, and they're broadcasting some kind of message it's repeating over and over. What does it say? We don't know. It's in the Krell language." Ji-yu thought for a moment. "Bring Elder to the bridge." When the large Krell arrived, supported by 2 medical staff, Ji-yu pointed to the screen. "Do you know what they're saying?" Elder listened, then its antennae rose straight up. "They are calling your name. They are asking to see the one who chose life over death." "Are they here to attack us?" Ji-yu asked. "No," Elder said. "They are here to witness, to see for themselves if the story is true." Ji-yu looked at her crew. They were scared but ready to follow her lead. She had already broken the biggest rule by saving the Krell. What was one more rule? "Open a channel to the Krell ships," she ordered. "Captain," Jae-hyun warned, "Fleet Command has ordered radio silence." "I know," Ji-yu said, "but sometimes you have to choose between following orders and doing what's right." She turned to Elder. "How do I say we come in peace in your language?" As Ji-yu repeated the strange clicks and whistles that Elder taught her, she knew she was making a choice that would change her life forever. She might lose her command. She might be court-martialed. But in this moment, she might also be taking the first real step toward ending a war that had cost billions of lives. Sometimes, the hardest choices are the ones most worth making. The 3 Krell ships stayed near the SDF Dauntless for 2 days. They kept their distance but did not leave. More Krell ships arrived each day. After 1 week, 12 Krell vessels surrounded the human ship. They formed a circle, like guards, protecting something valuable. Captain Ji-yu Park stood on the bridge watching the alien ships on the big screen. She had not slept well for days. Fleet Command had sent many angry messages, ordering her to destroy the Krell ships and return to Earth. She had not answered any of them. "They're just watching us," said Lieutenant Do-hyun. "They haven't made any threats." "The crew is getting nervous," Commander Jae-hyun added. "Having so many Krell ships around us is making people scared." Ji-yu nodded. "Tell the crew that if the Krell wanted to destroy us, they could have done it already. They outnumber us 12 to 1. "What do they want?" asked Minji from her station. "Elder might know," Ji-yu said. "Let's ask." In the medical bay, the Krell scientists were getting better. They could move around now, though their injuries were still healing. The medical staff had gotten used to the aliens. Some even seemed to enjoy talking with them. Elder sat on a specially built chair that could hold its large body. When Ji-yu entered, it made a gesture with its front limbs that looked like a human greeting. "You are learning our ways," Ji-yu said with a small smile. "And you are learning ours," Elder replied through the translator. "My companions and I have been studying how humans talk and act. It is fascinating." "Elder, more Krell ships keep coming. There are 12 now. Why are they here? What do they want?" Elder's antennae moved in what Ji-yu had come to recognize as a sign of deep thought. "They are here because of you, Captain Park. Word has spread quickly through our communication networks. A human who showed mercy to Krell. It is something that has never happened before. But what do they want from us? They want to see, to witness. In our culture, wisdom is not accepted without direct observation. They want to see the human who refused to kill." Ji-yu frowned. "I'm not some zoo animal to be stared at." "No," Elder agreed. "You are much more important. You have become a symbol of hope for the peace-seeking Krell. The queens have always told us that humans are savage beings who only want to destroy. You have shown that is not true." Later that day, Ji-yu called a meeting with her senior officers. They gathered in the small conference room near the bridge. "Our situation is complicated," she began. "Fleet Command has ordered us to destroy the Krell ships and return to Earth. If we do that, we'll restart the war with even more anger on both sides. If we don't follow orders, we're all breaking military law." The room was quiet. Everyone knew how serious this was. I've made my choice, Jiu continued. I will not attack these Krell ships. They have not threatened us. They are here because they see a chance for peace. I believe that chance is real. She looked at each officer in turn. But I won't make this choice for all of you. Anyone who wants to follow Fleet Command's orders can take one of our shuttles and return to Earth. I will record that you were following proper orders. No one moved. Commander Jae-hyun spoke first. Captain, I didn't agree with your decision to save the Krell scientists. I thought it was dangerous. But I was wrong. For 3 years, we've been fighting a war we can't win. If there's a chance for peace, we should take it. One by one, the other officers agreed they would stay with their captain. What's our next step? Tactical Officer Hana asked. We talked to them, Jiu said simply. Elder has been teaching me about Krell culture. In their society, trust is built through direct meetings. We need to invite them onto our ship. This caused some nervous looks among the officers. Having one group of injured Krell on board was one thing. Inviting more was another. Is that safe? Jae-hyun asked. Elder says the Krell ships are filled with what they call the enlightened brood. These are Krell who question the Queen's orders. They want peace as much as we do. 2 days later, the Dauntless prepared to welcome visitors from the Krell ships. The largest meeting room was cleared out. The chairs were replaced with platforms that could hold Krell bodies. Security teams were present but kept their weapons hidden. Elder and the other scientist Krell helped prepare for the meeting. They explained Krell customs and how to greet the visitors properly. Jiu practiced the complex series of gestures and sounds that showed respect in Krell culture. When the Krell shuttle docked with the Dauntless, Jiu waited nervously. What if this was a trick? What if Elder was wrong about these other Krell? The doors opened. 5 Krell entered the room. They were even larger than Elder, with more colorful shells and longer antennae. They moved with a grace that seemed strange for such large beings. The lead Krell approached Jiu. Its compound eyes reflected the room's light in a beautiful pattern. It made a series of clicking sounds that the translator converted. We greet the human called Park, who chose life when death was easier. Jiu performed the greeting ritual that Elder had taught her. The Krell visitors seemed surprised and pleased. I'm Speaker, the lead Krell said. I represent the enlightened brood from the southern hives. We have come to see if the stories are true. What stories? Jiu asked. That a human warrior showed mercy to helpless Krell. That this human speaks to Krell as equals, not as enemies. That this human might be the bridge between our kinds. The meeting lasted for hours. Speaker and the other Krell asked many questions. They wanted to know why Jiu had saved Elder and the scientists. They wanted to know if other humans would do the same. They wanted to know if peace was possible. Jiu answered honestly. Not all humans want war. Many are tired of fighting and dying. But our leaders are afraid to trust the Krell because we don't understand you, just as your queens are afraid to trust humans. Speaker's antennae moved thoughtfully. Fear leads to bad choices on both sides. Yes, Jiu agreed. That's why we need to learn about each other, to replace fear with understanding. As the meeting ended, Speaker made an unexpected request. Captain Park, would you allow me to touch your mind? Jiu looked confused. Elder explained, Speaker is a telepath, a mind toucher. Some Krell can share thoughts directly. It is how our kind builds deepest trust. Is it safe? Jiu asked. Yes, Elder assured her. Speaker will only receive what you willingly share. It will not harm you. After thinking for a moment, Jiu nodded. If this helps build trust between our peoples, I will try it. Speaker moved forward and gently placed 2 thin limbs on each side of Jiu's head. At first, nothing happened. Then, Jiu felt a strange warmth spreading through her mind. It was not uncomfortable, just different. Images flashed in her thoughts. Her childhood on Earth, her years of training, the moment she decided to save the Krell scientists. She felt Speaker's presence watching these memories with her. Then, unexpectedly, Speaker shared its own memories. Jiu saw the vast Krell hives, the beautiful crystal cities, the young Krell learning and playing. She saw the fear when humans first appeared in Krell space, the Queen's angry response, the beginning of war. And she saw the enlightened brood, growing in numbers, questioning the endless fighting. When Speaker removed its limbs, Jiyu stepped back, feeling dizzy. The room was silent. "Now I understand," Speaker said finally. "You truly seek peace. Your mind holds no hatred for my kind." Speaker turned to the other Krell visitors. "The stories are true. This human is what we hoped for. We must spread the word to all enlightened broods." As the Krell visitors returned to their ship, Jiyu felt that something important had changed. A connection had been made, a bridge between two very different kinds of beings. It was small and fragile, but it was real. Sometimes understanding begins with one person reaching out to another, even across the stars. 1 month had passed since Captain Jiyu Park first rescued the injured Krell scientists. What began as a small circle of 12 Krell ships had grown into something much bigger. Now more than 50 Krell vessels surrounded the SDF Dauntless. They came from different hives across Krell space. Some traveled great distances just to see the human captain who had shown mercy. The Dauntless drifted in deep space, far from the normal travel routes. Fleet Command had declared the ship missing in action. They told the public that Captain Park and her crew were likely dead, killed by Krell forces. It was easier than admitting that a human captain had refused orders and was now talking peace with the enemy. Jiyu stood in what had once been the ship's cargo bay. The large space had been changed into a meeting area where humans and Krell could gather. Right now, about 20 crew members sat with a dozen Krell visitors. They were sharing stories, learning each other's languages, and finding common ground. "Never thought I would see this," said Commander Jae-hyun, coming to stand beside her. "Humans and Krell, talking instead of fighting." "It's what should have happened from the beginning," Jiyu said. Before the war started, Elder approached them. The old Krell scientist moved more easily now, its injuries mostly healed. "Captain Park, more ships have arrived. Their leaders wish to speak with you." Jiyu nodded. These meetings had become a daily event. Each new group of Krell wanted to meet her, to see for themselves if the stories were true. "How many more will come?" Jae-hyun asked Elder. "Many more," Elder replied. "Word spreads quickly through our networks. The enlightened brood grows larger each day. More and more Krell question the Queens and their endless war." In the meeting room, 5 new Krell waited. These ones looked different from the others Jiyu had met. Their shells were darker with strange patterns that seemed to glow slightly. They wore metal pieces around their limbs that might have been jewelry or maybe tools. "These are from the deep hives," Elder explained quietly. "They rarely leave their underwater cities. They must have traveled very far to reach us." One of the deep hive Krell stepped forward. Its antennae waved slowly toward Jiyu. "We have come to see the Setak," it said through the translator. Jiyu had heard this term before. "What does Setak mean?" Elder never fully explained it. "It means the one who sees beyond shells," the deep hive Krell answered. "It is a title of great honor among our kind, one who can see the true being inside the outer form." "I'm just a soldier who made a choice," Jiyu said uncomfortably. She didn't like being treated as someone special. "No." The deep hive Krell's voice became stronger. "You are much more. For generations, the Queens have told us that humans see only our outer forms and fear us, that humans can never understand us. You proved this was wrong." Later that day, Jiyu met with her senior officers. The meeting was serious. "Our supplies are running low," reported Lieutenant Hana. "We have food for maybe 3 more weeks. Air, recyclers are still working well, but they need maintenance soon." "What about the Krell?" Jiyu asked. "Are they sharing their supplies with each other?" "Yes," Commander Jae-hyun said. "Elder told me the Krell ships have created a network. They share food, water, and materials. But they can't help us much. Their food would poison humans." Jiyu thought for a moment. "We need to find a supply station. Somewhere not controlled by Fleet Command." "There's a mining colony in the Tautseti system," suggested Minji. "They're independent. They might help us if we can pay." With what? Jaehyun asked. We don't have money or trade goods. The room fell silent as everyone considered their difficult situation. Then Dr. Sunwoo spoke up. Actually, we might have something valuable to trade. Knowledge, he explained. The Krell scientists have been teaching me about their medicine. Some of their healing techniques are amazing. Their tissue regeneration methods could save many human lives. Mining colonies always need good medical care. Ji-yu nodded. That might work. Minji, set a course for Tau Ceti. We'll bring a small group of Krell ships with us. The rest can wait here. As the Dauntless prepared to leave, an urgent message arrived. It wasn't from Fleet Command. It was from a small human colony on a planet called New Hope. They're under attack, Minji reported. A Krell battle group is bombing the colony. They're asking any human ships in range to help. The bridge crew looked at Ji-yu. This was the moment of truth. Would she help fellow humans against the Krell? How far is New Hope? She asked. About 2 days at full speed, Jaehyun answered. Ji-yu turned to Elder, who had been invited to the bridge as an advisor. Did you know about this attack? Elder's antennae drooped. No, but it is not surprising. The Queens continue the war even as more Krell join the enlightened brood. They may even be attacking harder now to stop our movement from growing. We have to help the colony, Ji-yu said firmly. But we won't go alone. She looked at her communications officer. Contact Speaker and the other Krell ship leaders. Tell them what's happening. Ask if they will come with us. The response from the Krell ships was immediate. All 50 vessels would join the Dauntless. Together, they would try to stop the attack on New Hope. 2 days later, the strange fleet arrived at New Hope. The small farming colony was still fighting, but they were losing badly. 6 large Krell warships were bombing the settlement from orbit. The colony's few defense guns were almost destroyed. Open a channel to the Krell attackers, Ji-yu ordered. When the connection was made, she spoke clearly. This is Captain Ji-yu, Park of the SDF Dauntless. Stop your attack immediately. The answer came quickly. Human ship, leave this area or be destroyed. This colony will be wiped out as an example to all humans. Before Ji-yu could respond, Speaker's ship moved forward. It sent its own message to the Krell attackers. Brothers, stop this senseless killing. The human captain with us is Setak. She has shown there can be peace between our kinds. The attacking ships paused their bombing. You are traitors to the Queens, came the reply. You will die with the humans. What happened next surprised everyone. From behind the 50 enlightened brood ships, dozens more Krell vessels appeared. Then dozens more. They had been following the Dauntless and its Krell escorts from far behind, watching and waiting. More than 200 Krell ships now faced the 6 attackers. It wasn't a fair fight anymore. We don't want to destroy you, Speaker transmitted to the attacking ships. Join us. See what we have seen. Learn what we have learned. For tense minutes, nothing happened. The attacking ships stopped bombing but didn't leave. Then slowly, one of the 6 ships moved toward the Dauntless. We would see this human called Setak, came a new message. We would judge for ourselves if the stories are true. Over the next few hours, all 6 attacking ships joined the growing fleet around the Dauntless. The captains of these ships met with Ji-yu. They were warriors, not scientists or diplomats. They asked hard questions and made threats. But they also listened. The Queens order us to kill all humans, said one Krell warrior. They say it is the only way our kind will survive. The Queens are wrong, Ji-yu replied simply. Look around you. Hundreds of Krell ships are here, peacefully floating next to a human vessel. We're talking instead of fighting. Both our kinds can survive better together than at war. As the tense meeting ended, the lead warrior made a surprising announcement. We will not attack this colony again. We will join your pilgrimage. We, too, wish to see where this path leads. That night, Ji-yu stood alone on the observation deck, looking out at the stars and the massive fleet of Krell ships. What had started with one small act of mercy had grown into something she could never have imagined. Elder joined her by the window. The colony is safe, the old scientist said, and our numbers grow. Over 300 ships now. What happens next? Jiyu asked. Now we must face the Queens, Elder said. They will not give up their war easily, but neither can they ignore what is happening here. Jiyu nodded. The hardest part was still ahead. But for the first time since the war began, there was real hope for peace. Sometimes the greatest journeys begin with the smallest steps. 3 months had passed since Captain Jiyu Park first chose to save the injured Krell instead of killing them. What began as one small act of mercy had grown into something that neither humans nor Krell could have imagined. The fleet following the SDF Dauntless now numbered over 500 Krell ships from many different hives. News of this strange gathering had finally reached Earth. The human government could no longer pretend that Jiyu and her crew were dead. Too many people had seen the massive fleet of Krell ships that followed but did not attack. Stories spread across human space about the captain who wouldn't kill and her peaceful army of alien followers. Fleet Command has finally responded, Commander Jae-hyun said, entering Jiyu's office with a data pad. They want us to come to Earth for a special meeting. They promise safe passage for us and a small group of Krell representatives. Jiyu looked up from her desk. Do you think we can trust them? I don't know, Jae-hyun admitted, but we can't stay out here forever. Our supplies are low even with what we got from the mining colony, and the message is signed by President Hwang herself. Later that day, Jiyu met with Elder, Speaker, and the other Krell leaders on the Dauntless. They gathered in the large meeting space that had once been the cargo bay. The human leaders want us to come to Earth, Jiyu explained. They say they want to talk about peace. Speaker's antennae twitched doubtfully. It could be a trap. They might want to capture or kill you for helping us. Maybe, Jiyu agreed. But we've started something important here. If we want real peace, we need to convince both sides. We've made progress with the Krell. Now we need to talk to the human leaders. There is another problem, Elder said. The Queens have noticed what is happening. They are angry that so many Krell have joined us. 3 large battle groups are heading this way. They will be here in 10 days. The room fell silent. Everyone knew what this meant. The Queens were sending their strongest forces to destroy the peaceful movement before it could grow even larger. Then we need to reach Earth before that happens, Jiyu decided. We'll take the Dauntless and 20 Krell ships. The rest of the fleet should scatter and hide. If we fail, they can continue what we started. 5 days later, the Dauntless approached. Earth with its small escort of Krell ships. Human defense platforms turned their weapons toward them but did not fire. Military ships moved into position around them but kept their distance. They're being careful, Jae-hyun observed. I count 30 battle cruisers watching us. Can you blame them? Jiyu asked. 20 Krell ships near Earth would normally be an invasion force. A message came through. Captain Park, your group is cleared to use Shuttle Bay 12 at Geneva Central. Security teams will meet you there. Here we go, Jiyu said. Speaker, Elder, are you ready? The 2 Krell had agreed to go with Jiyu to the meeting. They wore no weapons, just like the human delegation. This would be the first official meeting between Krell and humans that did not involve fighting. When their shuttle landed at Geneva Central, a large group of armed soldiers waited for them. Behind them stood several people in fancy clothes and serious faces. These were the leaders of the Earth Alliance government. Jiyu stepped out first. She wore her captain's uniform, clean and proper. Speaker and Elder followed, their large forms, moving carefully in the Earth gravity, which was stronger than they were used to. A woman with short gray hair stepped forward. Captain Park, I am President Hwang. Welcome home, though I must say the circumstances are unusual. Thank you, Madam President. May I present Elder and Speaker, representatives of the enlightened brood of the Krell. Hwang looked at the 2 aliens, with clear unease, but nodded politely. We have much to discuss, please follow me. They were led to a large meeting room. On one side sat the human leaders, President Hwang, several ministers, and the top generals of the Space Defense Force. On the other side sat Jiyu, Commander Jae-hyun, Elder, and Speaker. The room was tense and quiet. Captain Park, President Hwang began. Your actions these past months have been surprising. You disobeyed direct orders. You abandoned your post. You fraternized with the enemy. Under normal circumstances, these would be serious crimes. Jiu nodded but said nothing. However, Huang continued, your actions have also created an unprecedented situation. For the first time since this war began, we have Krell representatives sitting at a table with us instead of trying to kill us. This cannot be ignored. One of the generals, an older man with many medals, spoke harshly. This could still be a trick. The Krell are masters of deception. They could be using this peace movement to get close to Earth. Elder's antennae moved gently. If we wanted to attack Earth, we would not come with only 20 ships. The Queens have thousands. And speaking of the Queens, Speaker added, they are not happy about what is happening. They are sending forces to destroy us even now. They fear this peace movement more than any human weapon. Jiu leaned forward. Madam President, members of the Council, 3 years of war have cost billions of lives on both sides. Neither humans nor Krell are winning. We're just killing each other. But now we have a real chance for peace. What exactly are you proposing, Captain? Huang asked. A ceasefire, Jiu said firmly, followed by real peace talks. The enlightened brood now includes Krell from hundreds of hives. They want peace. They can help us communicate with the Queens. And why should we trust them? The old general demanded. Jiu looked at him calmly. Because they trusted us first. They could have killed me and my crew many times. Instead, they listened. They learned. They changed. Can we do any less? The meeting lasted for hours. Both sides asked hard questions and gave honest answers. By the end, President Huang looked tired but thoughtful. I need to discuss this with the full council, she said. We will continue tomorrow. As they left the meeting room, Jiu heard urgent voices from a nearby security station. She moved closer and heard the officer reporting, massive Krell fleet. Detected entering the outer system. Battle formation. At least 200 ships. Jiu felt cold fear in her stomach. Had the Queens found them already? Were they attacking Earth? She rushed back to the meeting room. Madam President, there's a Krell fleet approaching Earth, but it's not what you think. Everyone looked at her in alarm. Speaker, tell them. Jiu urged. Speaker stepped forward. These are not the Queen's forces. These are more of the enlightened brood. They have followed us to show their support for peace. That's impossible, the old general said. Our reports say they're in battle formation. That is because they do not know how else to travel, Elder explained. They have always been warriors, but they come as witnesses, not attackers. President Huang looked at Jiu for a long moment. Captain, you have placed me in a difficult position. If you're wrong, Earth could be destroyed. I'm not wrong, Jiu said confidently. Let me speak to them. Let me show that humans are ready to talk instead of fight. After much argument, Huang agreed. Jiu was allowed to send a message to the approaching Krell fleet. She asked them to stop at the edge of the system and send only 3 ships to Earth as representatives. The next day, when the council meeting resumed, something amazing happened. As the human leaders took their seats, the doors opened. In walked 20 Krell of different types. Some were scientists like Elder, some warriors like the ones who had attacked New Hope, some from the deep hives with their glowing shell patterns. What is the meaning of this? The old general demanded, standing up. One of the Krell warriors stepped forward. Its shell showed many battle scars. I am battle leader Krev. 3 days ago I was ordered by my queen to destroy the traitors who follow the human called Setak. Instead I came to see for myself if the stories were true. The warrior turned to look at Jiu. I have fought humans for many years. I have killed many. I believed all humans were cruel enemies who only wanted to destroy us. But this one human showed mercy when she could have killed. This made me question everything I believed. President Huang looked stunned. She turned to Jiu. It seems your influence extends further than we realized, Captain. The peace talks lasted for days. There were angry words and difficult moments. Not everyone wanted peace. Some humans still hated the Krell for the people they had killed. Some Krell still feared humans would try to destroy them once the fighting stopped. But slowly, carefully, the two sides found common ground. They agreed to stop fighting in 3 star systems as a test. They created teams of humans and Krell, who would work together to solve problems. They made plans to talk with the queens to convince them that peace was better than endless war. On the final day, President Huang signed the first peace agreement between humans and Krell. As she did, she looked at Jiyu. Captain Park, 3 months ago you made a choice that could have ended your career. Instead, it may have saved 2 civilizations. What made you do it? Jiyu thought for a moment. I just couldn't bring myself to kill helpless beings. It seemed wrong, no matter what the orders said. Such a small thing, Elder commented. To refuse to kill an enemy. And yet, it changed everything. As Jiyu looked around the room at humans and Krell talking together, planning a future without war, she felt a deep sense of peace. Her small act of mercy had started something much bigger than herself. Sometimes the greatest sea